Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the Monday Night Football picks between the Lions and the Packers in Lambeau Field. I hope you guys all had a good Sunday. It was a pretty crazy week 2 on Sunday. We won on the FanDuel main, lost on the Draftkings main, but then made up for the Draftkings on the showdown, which we put up over 130 and 113 on FanDuel. The showdown video that I did post close to lock ended up doing great. I went with the same 3 picks I had in there. The Kelsey captain, and then we had Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and then we went with the cheap guys, Robinson, Duvernay, and then I went with Tucker. And then FanDuel had the 3 guys that I plugged in with the 2 cheap guys, Latavius Murray and Robinson. So good day on the showdown. It was another exciting game. All the showdowns have been super exciting, the primetime games. So let's get into this video. As always, appreciate you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You can visit the website, dfsprocess.net. You can follow me on Twitter at the dfsprocess, and let's get started. So a lot to touch on this single game because the Lions are dealing with quite a bit of injuries, especially at the wide receiver position. So looking at their snap counts for week 1, this is going to be a pretty big deal today. Khalif Raymond played 75% of snaps. He played 69 offensive snaps. He is questionable. I don't know if let's see if he practiced. I don't know if he's going to play or not. There's nothing word on if he practiced. But if he is out, and with Tyrell Williams already being out, who was going to play a ton of snaps, but then he got hurt in the second half. If those 2 guys are out, then you're going to see St. Brown, the rookie, play a bunch. Benson, who's only $1,000 on DraftKings, he's going to have to play in all 2 wide receiver sets. You'll see probably Quintus Cephas, the big body wide receiver, play a ton more. And then you might even get some snaps for Hodge, who they just brought in from the Browns. So they are very appealing on DraftKings just because they're so cheap. It allows you to pay up for the studs like Rodgers, Devontae Adams, even get up to like Hawkinson, DeAndre Swift, Goff if you wanted to. But St. Brown is $3,600. He had 4 targets. They're going to have to throw the ball probably a lot in this game like they did at the end of the game against the 49ers, which it was garbage time, but they were down by so many points that they just had to keep throwing the football. And if they get down early, which they are double-digit road underdogs, they're probably going to have to throw a ton. So I don't mind taking shots on like Cephas, taking shots on St. Brown, even going with $1,000 going with the Benson, who is just $1,000, just because he actually got 6 targets, which is good to see. Because they're so cheap and they're going to have to make some plays, hopefully, if they are going to end up throwing the ball a ton. Other guys on the Lions, looking at their snap counts at running back, if those 2 receivers are out, then I would say that Jamal Williams will probably play a lot more than 35% of offensive snaps. Williams did a ton of damage, even though he wasn't on the field a ton. 25 fantasy points. He had 17 touches in just 35% of the snaps. So in the 32 snaps that he was out there, he got touched. He got the ball more than half the time. I could see him lining up more on 4 wide receiver sets. They might run 2 more. They might run more 2 running back sets just because if the receivers are injured, they're going to need them. So I don't mind Jamal Williams, but I would still lean to Swift, who's $1,200 more. Jamal Williams does have the revenge going back to Lambeau, but Swift, I just think that he's also going to get a ton of touches. Both guys got just over 15, but Swift was closer to 20. He got 11 targets. Him and Hawkinson are going to get a bunch of targets. Goff likes to just dink and dunk, as we know. Hawkinson got 11. He got a touchdown. He's going to be the big play, number 1 option for the Lions all season. So Hawkinson, Swift, they are pretty good guys to get into your lineup. If you wanted to go to a cheaper guy to plug in at captain, you have a bunch of options. You can go with St. Brown. You can go with Benson. You can go with Cephas. Just some cheap plays that will be out there on the field and give you some upside. So if you do something like that on the Lions side, at least I probably will get to at least 2 Lions, maybe even 3, just because they are affordable. And I think this game will go back and forth. That's what Green Bay showed against the Saints. I think the Lions will be able to move the ball a little bit against that defense. And then looking at the Packers, you know exactly what you're going to kind of expect from the Packers. They were losing so much in the fourth quarter that they put in Hill for some garbage time. Jones didn't play a ton. He played under 50%. Devontae Adams didn't play a ton late. He only played 70%, but normally these guys are going to play 90 plus. Well, at least Adams will play 90 plus. I don't know. They've been kind of mixing and matching with Jones's workload. But definitely looking at Adams, Rodgers, they're the 2 top plays on the Packers side. I like Jones, but I think I like just getting to those guys more, and I don't think I'll be able to get to all three. And then for the value guys, I like Scantling more than Lazard. He got 8 targets. He gives you some big play upside. And then Tanyan didn't do much. The whole team didn't do much, so don't just blame Tanyan. I think he can have a decent game, but he is kind of priced where he should be at 62. So I might look to some of the cheaper wide receivers. And then the kicking game, I'd look to Crosby over the Lions kicker. Normally just go with the team that has a more implied total. So that's one way I would go. And then Fells did play a little bit, but I'd rather go to Benson than play Darren Fells. He played like 20-something% of snaps. So looking at some potential builds here, if you do go cheap at captain, which has worked a good amount, like last night, Pringle captain played him, made some money. A couple against the Washington game, if you played Brown at captain, you were able to cash. So if you do St. Brown at captain, get Swift, Hawkinson, get Rodgers. He's 11-4. You have 85. Plug in Adams. You have 52. So then you can just plug in Lazard. You kind of do a little bit of a 3-3. You don't have Jared Goff in here, but if you wanted to go to Goff, you can go Hawkinson and upgrade to Goff. So you get Goff, Swift, Brown, Rodgers, Adams, Lazard. That's definitely looks pretty appealing. If you wanted to go to even a cheaper play at captain like Benson, maybe that frees up some more. He's $1,500. Plug in Adams, Rodgers, Hawkinson, even Goff. Then you have 57, so you can go to Scantling. So another thing, you don't have Swift in here, which kind of sucks because I do like Swift a lot. But at least you get Hawkinson, pair him with Goff. If you wanted to go Swift, you could do that. And then you can go to Robert Tonyan here at 64. Let's do one with probably Rodgers or Adams at captain. If you do Rodgers at captain, probably still like to get to Adams. I think I think Rodgers is going to have a big game today. It's a divisional opponent at home in Lambeau. They got embarrassed. Rodgers looked like didn't even want to be out there in the second half. So we know that he doesn't want to be in Green Bay unless he's trying to force his way out by not playing well. I would expect him to be able to move the ball and put up a ton of points against this team. Quintez Cephas have to play a lot more today with the injuries to Williams and potentially to Khalif Raymond. Hawkinson, Cephas, or probably go Swift. Cephas, 84, leaves you with about 44.50. You have Lazard at 48. Crosby's 4,000. It's already kind of expensive at 4K, so I'd rather go to like some of these cheaper guys, like maybe even Benson. Then you can go Jamal Williams if you wanted to. So that is pretty heavy on the Lions side. Their pricing is just a little bit better with the receivers are being so cheap. So I'll have a couple of studs on the Packers, but the Lions make it work just to get to those expensive guys on the Packers like Adams and Rodgers. So probably the main pieces that I'm kind of penciled in on. I'm not looking to play like Randall Cobb. I think St. Brown, the rookie, gives you some upside at 36. Definitely will be going to Swift, Adams, Rodgers. Still leaves you with 74. You can go with Hawkinson. You can go with him and Lazard. That's an approach, or you can go with Goff and Lazard, or something like that. Cephas also sitting there. But if you do go Cephas, let's see how much money you have left. It's 3,800. It leaves you with 11K. So if you wanted to get to all three of the big guys on the Packers, then you could do that. So another approach to kind of look at. But that is about it for the DraftKings slate. If Raymond does end up playing, then you can easily upgrade Cephas to Raymond because he'll be out there on the field a bunch. But that's about it for the DraftKings look. I think I might go somewhat affordable at captain so I can jam in some of these studs. And I think Swift is probably one of my favorite plays on the Lions side. He's going to be super involved in this game. So let's go ahead and take a look at the FanDuel picks. All right, so over here on FanDuel, looking at the MVP spot, you have Rodgers, Adams as your top two options here based on price tag. I think both of those guys are viable. If you wanted to go different, you have Jones at only 12.5. It looks a lot better on FanDuel based on the pricing. He's pretty similarly priced to Rodgers and Adams on DraftKings, but you save $2,500 going from him than Adams, and you save, well, obviously you probably want to get to Rodgers, but you do save $3,500 going to Jones. Swift is similarly priced to Jones. I like both of these guys if I can get to them both in my lineup. Detroit's running defense is not very good. Hawkinson, another solid option at 11K. I'm not looking to pay 10.5 for Williams, even though I do like him a bit, just because I'd rather just pay pay 500 more for Hawkinson or pay $1,500 more for Swift. Tanyan is 10K. I think I would rather go to like Lazard at 85 or even Scantling at 8,000. And then you have the Cephas Brown combo at 75, and then you have Benson at 6K if you wanted to do that route. So looking at some builds, FanDuel is always pretty kind of straightforward. It's Rodgers, potential captain play, obviously. You can go with Jones. If you wanted to go to Swift, he's 12K. Leaves you with like 97.50, so you can go Scantling. You have 11.5 to plug in like Hawkinson if you wanted to do that. Or you can upgrade Valdez Scantling to Lazard. Instead, I would probably lean to... I'll probably have at least 2 Lions on FanDuel. Probably a 3-2 stack. Or 3 Packers, 2 Lions approach, like Lazard. You know, Lazard or Scantling in the last spot. If you did want to jam in... Goff as well, you have just 5K, so it's going to be very tough. You're going to have to downgrade Swift to Hawkinson, and then you would have to probably take a shot on the 6K Benson. So if you wanted to do that, you do have 3 Lions. That's something not a lot of people will do. But on FanDuel, I like Jones just based on the price tag, just because it allows me to get up to some of these more expensive pieces like Hawkinson and Swift. Because it is going to be tough to get to Rodgers and Parker. It leaves you with just under 10K, so you're not... I mean, you can get to, like, Jones, but then you're going to have to go with, like, a couple of cheap guys. So I think you could do that if you wanted to. If you jam in the Packers 3 studs, you're not going to be able to get to, like, Hawkinson. You're left with just 55, and I don't see anybody reasonable at that price tag. Unless just, like, complete pump plays. So not able to really get to Hawkinson or Swift. You're just going to have to kind of rely on... like Cephas and maybe go with like Lazard if you want a full-on stack. I think that looks fine, but for me, I feel a little bit more comfortable doing at least getting to one of these 2 guys on the Lions, Swift or Hawkinson. I could see, they're just so involved offensively, and with the injuries at wide receiver, they're going to have to play a big role. So these would be probably the 3 top options for me on FanDuel. And that's about it for the video, so thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe. Best of luck today, and I'll see you all next time.